Well, welcome to the new year, my soul friends. Wow, we're in 2023. How are you feeling? What are you noticing? Has everything magically changed or feel pretty much the same? Well, we do have a lot of new energies in 2023. If you've listened to some of my other videos, I I believe that the new year doesn't start until spring, the natural new year, the astrological new year. And so we may be off to a slow start for New Year's. I do think that the January New Year start, again, it's a kind of a mechanistic, not natural way of being if we're following the natural cycles. And we are nature, so we need to be. So I am curious how you're feeling. Oftentimes, we just start the new year off like, okay, all these intentions and resolutions and all this quick energy that, in my opinion, of doing transformational work for over 20 years, I think is not sustainable. What is sustainable? Following your natural rhythms, your natural cycles, where you are. Um, so I'm going to go into some of the astrology right now. I'm going to talk about the full moon, the first full moon of the year in Cancer, um, and on January 6th, and that is at 3:08 p.m. Pacific time. So welcome. I should just pause and say welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, I call myself the soul nurturer because my whole soul mission is about nurturing potential in others, connecting to that soul essence and reclaiming it and nurturing it into full potential. I do that with a number of modalities: transformational hypnotherapy, NLP, dream work. I'm also a trained Jungian based soul director, spiritual director, or soul guide, or soul friend, an Anamkara. So I have many years of experience and many tools that I sort of meet with my clients. I meet people where they are and kind of say what's needed here, and I follow my client's wisdom. I support my client in connecting to their soul's wisdom and their potential, and that's why I like to say soul guide. So welcome. If you have yet to subscribe, why don't you do that now? I invite you to subscribe. I will tell you that I'm still unfolding this channel. I started this channel in 2020 in the midst of a huge transformational cycle of my own. And so if you see me at the very beginning, I've sort of chronicled my journey, and I'm still unfolding. I'm still going through some, I think the tail end of it anyway, deep, I would say dark night of the soul. I would say huge dismantling of my being and re-emerging in a more authentic way. And so there's been a lot of stumbling, a lot of falling down, a lot of getting up and continuing. And in a way, I hope that if you've been part of my journey or you're just joining me now, I'm normalizing the human experience. I'm normalizing a soul having a human experience in our perfectly imperfect way. We are not perfect, are we? And this year in particular, thank God, is going to be a year of no longer pretending. This year, I'm not going to go into the astrology of this year. I'm just going to stay with my moon, my lunation cycles that I have just sort of stayed in my scope of practice and what I do know that I could speak to in a way that I feel comfortable and confident. But I'm reclaimed my astrological practice that's been with me since I was a kid, really. But to help myself and others, those who I support, navigate these transformational times. So I'm not like, there are astrologers on YouTube that are like, wow, their knowledge is quite impressive. My knowledge is more intuition, like an intuitive take on what I feel into. Of course, I have studied. It's not like just that. But I'm going to announce here at the beginning an exciting update for my channel because it's still unfolding. I'm still in my same old squeaky chair. Haven't changed that yet. I kind of changed the lighting today, which I get a lot of comments on. So thank you for that. Same background, keeping it pretty simple. And, my whole intention was just to show up, just as real as I am, just as I am, whatever mood I was in, um, fumbling with the lighting, fumbling with the sound, fumbling with how to get a message out to all of you. I'm not technical. And the one thing that kept me going was a knowing I was meant to, and that is a soul call. When you have a soul call, nothing is going to knock you off track, even if you make a lot of mistakes and fall down. You just get back up. Really? That's it. That is the key to transformation. Surrender to the falls, surrender to dropping into your old material so you can rise up with greater awareness, heal what needs to be healed, and start again. So back to my announcement. I'll announce her more thoroughly when we meet. Gosh, I don't have the date in front of me. I think it's the third week of January. I have invited my astrology mentor to come on to this channel. I think we've agreed to once a month to really, I'm telling you, I'm bringing an astrological encyclopedia to this channel. And I'm delighted that she has agreed. Her name is Stephanie Austin. I'll tell you more when I introduce her on, I think it's January 23rd, and I'll give you more notification as we get closer. And I'm just delighted because she's going to just really bring the wisdom that I get frustrated that I don't have a lot of that at my fingertips. It's just, it's more of an intuitive feeling of what's coming. She is a precision practitioner. So, stay tuned for that. I'll introduce her on that first meeting, and the 23rd, I'm pretty sure that is the date. And I think it's going to just be introducing her and a few questions about astrology. And I do invite any questions that you do have for her. I tell you, if you have a question, she has an answer. So that's exciting, exciting new development. I had an intention to completely reboot this channel. I don't have the energy right now. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I've been honest in my journey so far here with all of you. I am taking my own advice and pacing with grace. I am not pushing. I'm allowing the unfolding, and I'll do my best to show up how I can, when I can, with still a commitment of the new moon and full moon and some transformational videos in between, and some lives that I want to get more consistent with. Maybe I'll just pick the date and just go with it. I feel like I have a little more energy this year to do that. So the lives are fun because I can interact with you one-on-one. Okay, enough about that. I'll put more details in I'll put more information in the details. Anybody else get confused between all the different social media platforms? I'm going to DM, I'm going to message, I'm going to detail, I'm going to comment, I'm going to caption. I don't know. So anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. Blessed, joyous, abundant, bountiful new year. And when I say new year, it's not the new beginning. I think the new beginning is in March, the energetic new year. This is the new year on a calendar, and it's kind of like a blank canvas, isn't it? So here we are. I wanted to talk about this full moon in Cancer. I think it's, the full moon in Cancer, the first full moon of every year in Cancer, is such a perfect setup for the year unfolding, the blank canvas before us, or the blank pages, or in this case, I keep having the image of, the land that we're about to build our home and hearth on, metaphorically, and maybe for some of you, you're literally building a house, because the sun is in Capricorn, right? Capricorn ruled by Saturn, structure, foundation, taking personal responsibility. And then it meets up, or it's not meets up, it's opposite, which is a full moon, the sun in Capricorn opposite the moon in Cancer. And then we have all of the archetypal expressions of Cancer, the nurturer, the home and hearth, nourishing energy, intuitive, sensitive, emotional, right? There's practical Capricorn energy, opposite emotional, feeling connected to, again, wanting to, nurture potential, nurture possibilities. So I'm going to talk more about the full moon, and full moons in this lunation cycle is the culmination point from the new moon to the full moon, which takes 2 weeks for the culmination, we tend to set intentions with the new moon, and then we tend to, as we move in the full moon, as we go from the waxing gibbous to the full moon, we tend to see more as illuminated what is aligned with what we intended, or what is being revealed to be healed in order to fulfill that intention. Okay, so I want to back up just a step, because there was a lot, going on. First of all, I want to know, how did the entry into the new year feel for you? Have you noticed any shifts? How do you feel? And this is how we track astrology. When I talk about astrology, I'm talking about generalities, but it is your personal astrological weather. So what are you noticing? How are you feeling? We're having a lot of shifts in 2023, but we're kind of held back right now. We're not quite ready for that fresh breeze of a lot of air coming. We're going to have Pluto going into Aquarius. Actually, Venus just went into Aquarius on the 2nd. So we are still in the Capricorn energy. That's the Capricorn season of the perhaps heaviness, the seriousness, the really wanting to take our potential in our life serious, and this is important. And Mercury and Mars are still in retrograde, so it may feel like, still like, I just want to get to where I want to go. I want to do what I want to do, and following the natural rhythms. It's saying the universe, God. I believe that personally. Astrology is a gift from Creator to help us navigate our human experience as souls, to help us fulfill the promise of our soul potential. So it has, with Mercury and Mars in retrograde and still in Capricorn season and still in winter on the North Hemisphere anyway, there's still stillness. There's still it's still a time for reflection, a time for really sitting with what wants our attention. And the lead up to this full moon, we've had, Sun square Chiron on January 1st till January 3rd. Sun bringing forward our woundedness, Chiron, the wounded healer, that may be connected to our identity, how we show up in the world, how we don't show up in the world. So there's been some action there. As we draw closer to the full moon, there was the Venus conjunct Pluto on New Year's Eve, and that, it was New Year. It was on the 31st until January 1st. So that may have brought up some deep, dark secrets about our relationships, or our relationship with money, or some of the areas we hadn't looked at that we needed to look at. So I love, I've had a few teachers, and Stephanie is one of them, and I've had some wonderful teachers. In 2020, I just wanted to meet a lot of different astrology teachers, and met a lot of them. Jessica and Travis DeRuzza, I love them. I've taken a few classes with them, and I think perhaps Stephanie too, but I got this gift of speaking about astrology as a story unfolding, right? What is the story of everything that's happening on a day-to-day with the celestial movement? And now here's the thing. This story is unfolding our personal story, evolving our potential, evolving us. So this is like a story happening. Where are you? Have you been felt wounded in your identity? Where have you been hiding your true feelings, perhaps? Or where have you been in the dark, or had some shadowy experiences with your money and your and what you value, what you don't value? Maybe in a relationship you kind of hid what you really value, and now that's being illuminated, and you need to have a real serious conversation with your partner or with yourself. And remember, all relationships start with self. What's a relationship like with yourself? But Venus conjunct Pluto could have felt like obsessing about something, obsessing about someone, or some situation connected to money, or relationship, or creativity. And then let's see what else. So I said, then we've had a nice Mercury sextile Neptune since the 31st until the 4th of January. So I imagine I have been having some very beautiful, healing, vivid dreams. And I wonder if you have too. And anytime I say something that connects with you, please do comment. I love your comments. It tells me that whatever I'm sharing is connecting and landing somewhere out there in the world. And it also helps me continue to get my message out into the YouTube waters a little bit wider. So I do appreciate all of your comments and likes and views, and I'm really honored by all of them. So thank you. So now, as we move closer to the full moon, Sun trines Uranus. Sun, identity, our vitality, how we move about in the world, trining Uranus, the great reformer or evolver, or comes with a way to want to with break free. I was saying 2023, the year to break free, and it is because of all this Uranus or Aquarius energy coming, with Pluto moving into Aquarius in March. And right off the bat here, we've got Sun trine Uranus, which is innovative breakthrough ideas. How can I do my life differently? What have I been denying that I want to just break free from my limited patterns and really step forward no matter what? And I'm speaking for you. This is the feeling, not caring about what anybody else thinks about you. This is a time to be yourself, right? And since there's still some connection here to Venus, in terms of that Venus-Pluto, it's time to really break free out of old limited ways of being in your relationships and co-create, envision some unique way that's eccentric and different that you haven't thought of before in terms of relating to others. Okay, so now we're right into the full moon again, full moon in Cancer. And if you know of any Cancerians, think about it. Think about them and how they are in the world. Maybe it's you. And this full moon in Cancer will really affect Cancerians and Capricorns and wherever it lands in your natal chart. And this is important if you need to know what house, and this is where that house in your natal chart will be lit up with these archetypal expressions. And a full moon is always about, think about it, oppositions, integrating the strengths from each, finding the balance point, and letting, since a full moon illuminates everything, we get to see both the potential and the shadow to integrate. Okay, so this moon opposition Sun at the full moon. We also have moon opposition Mercury, right? Because Mercury is conjuncting the Sun. So Mercury conjuncting the Sun is another way of more insight, more, maybe you really want to have that conversation because you have so much to say, right? Sun energizing the Mercury, your communication, your message, what you want to say, opposite the moon. So this opposition, the full moon and the opposition to between Mercury and moon is really, there may be like, okay, I'm really rational and thinking about what I want to say, and then suddenly you're just in your emotions. Cancer moon can be very emotional. Full moons are very emotional. It can draw forward everything that needs to be revealed, to be healed. And it can't, since Cancer is a water sign, we can tend to be a little bit more emotional. And I would caution, again, there's nothing definitive here, just intuitive ideas. And, you are the expert of you, and you can override any of these things and find out what it feels like for yourself. But I would say there's a possibility of some emotional eating because moon is connected, is the ruler of Cancer, and it's in its natural sign, right? Cancer moon, connected to mother, connected to nurturing, connected to getting our needs met. So there may be, unless you're really connected to yourself, some emotional eating, trying to get the needs met in an artificial way. So I will say, to avoid that, it's important to sit with what do you need at this time. I think of the Capricorn Sun, which is feminine. Capricorn is feminine energy, and so is Cancer feminine. But the sun feels like masculine, and the moon feels like mother. So almost like this masculine, feminine support. Think about Capricorn, and like I think of Capricorn as being like, the protector, the builder. Capricorn is energy is offering us an opportunity to rebuild a structure that supports our home and hearth. I keep feeling, and I'm just going to go with this because it keeps coming. This is a time for us to notice how we've cultivated personal responsibility, and where maybe we've shown up for others in a really responsible way, and a really like dependable way. Yes, I've got you, I'm there, that your inner child needs. Cancer moon, I feel, is connected to the nurturing of the inner child. So remember our unfolding. We learned from our childhoods and what we received and what we didn't receive, and what's missing, what's still needed. This full moon may illuminate where you are still stuck because a need is not being met, that what you needed in childhood is still not being met. And guess who gets to meet it? You. I like to say that transformational healing is as difficult and simple as this. What you needed as a child that you didn't receive, you still need to heal now. And another layer that I add is it's what you give away to others. This Cancer full moon is showing you where you're nurturing and supporting others in a way that you need. And this is what my main message is about: taking your own soul medicine. You've cultivated enough, you know enough, you've practiced enough, a way of being and supporting others, that it's time to support yourself. Oh, there's some old energy stuck in my throat about that. And because we've had Mercury and Mars retrograding, we've been having the time to review. Where have we been stuck? What do we need? We can be stuck in limiting patterns because limiting patterns come out of a need not being met. When a need is not met, and again, we forgive our parents, they did the best they could, but we deserve better. We deserve everything we need to fulfill our soul potential. It is a promise from the Creator, but we're looking in the wrong places often. We're looking at our parents still. We're looking at our partners still. This is between you and the divine. This is between you and your soul. What do you need to fulfill the promises of your soul potential? What do you need? So when a need isn't met, we create a negative core belief. And that negative core belief creates a limiting pattern. And that limiting pattern keeps us stuck spiraling in the same way. The limiting pattern is an unconscious way to try to get a need met. This is where manipulation comes in. This is where passive aggressiveness comes in. Not directly identifying, what do I need? And trusting that you have the ability to meet your own needs. It's not out there. It's in here. And this is where I keep getting the message about overeating or comfort food eating. It's because we're looking for that comfort outside of ourselves. Oh, maybe it's in this banana bread or chocolate cupcake or, whatever. The comfort's not out there. The comfort needs to be generated in here and in your heart, in your being, in your self-love, in your acceptance, in your own compassion. So that's my feeling for this full moon. I'd be curious to know what you're feeling. This is a time to reparent yourself, to show up as the reliable, dependable authority figure of your life, to nurture your potential, to meet your needs no matter what. I'm having this image of, remember, maybe you've heard the classic story of a mother, her child is stuck under a car, and she, without thinking, without hesitating, lifts the car up to free her child. That's the potential within all of us to not be stuck or stopped and serving and supporting our own potential and nurturing and nourishing our own needs so that we can be of greater support to others. Another post I posted on Instagram, and if you're on Instagram, I am the soul nurturer on Instagram. And I'm not there as present as I was in the past. Again, I'm still kind of simmering some things. I'm still sitting and listening to my own soul right now. But I posted something at the beginning of the year, or around on the 31st, I don't remember. It was something like, oh gosh, I'll have to look it up. Something about, though, it's, oh, that's right. 2023, I'll be focusing more on me in order to support the collective we. So that is a key message. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's essential, because the more you do, the more capacity you have to contribute to the collective unfolding. Okay? All right. I think that's all I have for you. Thank you for being with me. What questions do you have? Do you have any questions about anything I said? Do you have any questions for Stephanie Austin? Awesome. Eco astrologist is what she calls herself. She's got a mixed bag, as I do, of astrology, evolutionary, archetypal, just amazing. You're going to love her. But do you have any questions about anything I said here today, or any requests for topics to cover about transformational offerings? Please let me know. Subscribe if you haven't, like, and share the video if you feel called. I just want to say again, from my heart to yours, from my soul to yours, it's an honor to be on this journey with you. I don't know why I was called to this, but I'm trusting that there is a reason. And if that reason is helping one person out there, then that has been fulfilled, and I want to continue to meet that need. All right, blessings to you for the new year, and I will see you next time. Much love. Bye.